Welcome to the Schpiel. That's a Yiddish word for meaning I'm going to give you my opinion. The other day I noticed something quite alarming in response to a YouTube video that we had posted. Somebody said in a post regarding the resurrected Jewish nation, quote, Israel 1948, referring to the modern state, has no covenantal relationship with God under the obsolete Mosaic covenant. And then he wrote Hebrews 8, 6 through 13. The Lord rebuke you for perpetrating this fallacy of a dual covenant relation with God. This is sin. End quote. Let's answer these questions one by one. First, the land that God promised to Israel was not established in the Mosaic covenant, but in the Abrahamic covenant. It says in Genesis 12 that God said to Abraham, then Abram, to your offspring I give this land. Then in chapter 17, he says, the whole land of Canaan I will give to you as an everlasting possession to you and your descendants after you. How long would this covenant last? God says, I will establish my covenant as an everlasting covenant between me and you and your descendants for generations to come. Secondly, regarding Hebrews 8, where it does say that that which is obsolete will soon disappear, our friend assumes that this is the Mosaic covenant. However, the Mosaic covenant has not disappeared. In fact, Yeshua's Sermon on the Mount affirms the Torah when he said, do not think that I have come to abolish the law or the prophets. I have not come to abolish them, but to fulfill them. For truly I tell you, until heaven and earth disappear, not the smallest letter, not the least stroke of a pen will by any means disappear from the Torah until everything is accomplished. So if he's not talking about the Mosaic covenant, what is he talking about? The answer, it's quite simple. What disappeared shortly after the writing of the book of Hebrews? The temple. God was saying that there is no longer a need for temple sacrifices in light of Yeshua's. Keep in mind, Hebrews 8 quotes Jeremiah 31, where it clearly says that the difference between the new covenant and the Mosaic covenant is that the Spirit of God will empower us to live according to God's commands, not that God's Torah would become obsolete. Third, he says that God has no covenant with the Jewish people. This is also false. Paul affirms this in Romans chapter 3, where he says there is much value in being a Jew and in circumcision. To be clear, Paul is referring to the Abrahamic covenant, which is not a covenant that leads to eternal life, but it's a covenant that God will not break between him and the descendants of Abraham. It's only by this covenant that God established way back in Genesis 15 that Israel has survived 52 attempted genocides and several wars over the past 70 years that were meant to annihilate her. God's grace is still in effect for the Jewish people. So is our friend correct? Is it sin to support the state of Israel? On the contrary, I think it's sin not to. The Bible tells us to pray for the peace of Jerusalem. God says in Isaiah that he has posted watchmen on the walls of Jerusalem to protect her, speaking, I believe, of international Christians. Romans 11 talks about Gentiles provoking Israel to jealousy through kindness. And Matthew 25 says that the returning Messiah will judge the nations based on how they treated the natural brothers of Jesus, the Jews. And that, my friends, is my spiel. Shalom, everybody. I'm Ron Cantor, the Regional Director for God TV in Israel. And I got to tell you something. I moved to Israel almost 20 years ago with one goal in mind, to reach my people with the good news of Yeshua the Messiah. And not long ago, we birthed something called Shelanu TV. Because of you, because of the gifts of God TV partners, Shelanu TV, a cooperative ministry with many Israeli ministries and Arab ministries, Shelanu TV became the first Hebrew-speaking messianic cable channel broadcasting the good news of Yeshua to the nation. Now, as you probably know, we were taken off the air a few months after that. And within 3 hours, we were back up on the internet, on Facebook, on YouTube. We are not giving up and we're not backing down. We love the Jewish people. As I said, I moved here because of this burning love inside of me for them to know our Messiah. In fact, we call Shelanu, Shelanu because it means ours. And Yeshua, hu echad me'etanu, he is one of ours. He came from this nation. So I want to thank you during this 25th anniversary for birthing Shelanu TV. And I want to encourage you to continue to pray, continue to support Shelanu TV, because as we reach the Jewish people with their Messiah, with their Yeshua, according to Paul, that's going to release a greater riches revival all throughout the world. That's in Romans 11, verse 12 and verse 15. When the Jewish people who originally rejected Yeshua accept him, it's going to release revival. So friends, here we are 25 years into it. We're not giving up. We're moving forward, and you are reaching the Jewish people with the good news of Yeshua. And not just the Jewish people, you are reaching people all throughout the world. God bless you on this 25th anniversary for God TV. Shalom.